Remember that AI that made that painting a while back, the one that fooled all those art experts? They thought it was a real Rembrandt.
Oh yeah, the next Rembrandt.
Yeah, that one. It's just wild what AI can do, you know? And that's just a small part of it. AI is revolutionizing everything, art, business, how we live our lives every day. And in this deep dive, we're going to look at how AI is changing companies, how they work, and how they compete with each other. It's a whole new world out there.
Definitely is. And we're going to use Competing in the Age of AI as our guide. The book's by Marco Iansiti and Kareem Lakhani.
Now, the book talks about something called the AI-driven firm. What is that exactly?
Well, it's not just about like using AI in a few places in your business. It's about putting AI at the heart of everything the company does. AI and all that data it analyzes, it informs everything, like how they make decisions, take actions, even their whole strategy.
Gotcha. So where does this whole AI-driven thing start?
With shift to digital operating models.
So it's not just about having like a few computers lying around.
No, no, it's much bigger than that. Think about the difference between old school film photography and the digital photography we all use now.
Oh, I see what you mean. Digital isn't just like a more convenient way to take pictures. It's a total game changer.
Exactly, you hit it right on the head.
Now we can take a zillion pictures without worrying about film, share them instantly. We've even got AI that can sort our photos or tell us who's in them.
Right. Digital opens up incredible possibilities. It's all about scalability, scope, and learning. Companies can grow like crazy. They can connect with tons of different activities, and algorithms are constantly learning, getting better all the time. Companies that were stuck in that old analog way of doing things, like Kodak, they just couldn't keep up.
So it's not like someone just invented a better kind of film.
Right, exactly. Companies like Facebook and Google came along,
Yeah.
and they created whole new ways to use and share photos.
And when you talk about digital operating models, you got to mention Amazon. They're like the kings of this, right?
Yeah. Amazon's the perfect example of an AI-driven firm. They've gone digital with practically everything in their business.
And that lets them do what? Like, what's the big advantage?
Well, it gives them massive scale. They can offer a crazy variety of products and services, and they're always learning and improving thanks to their algorithms.
Speaking of algorithms, those product recommendations on Amazon always seem to know what I want. It's kind of freaky
I know
sometimes.
what you mean, but it's not magic, though it feels like it, right? They use something called collaborative filtering algorithms.
Okay, now you're just using big words to confuse me.
No, no, it's actually pretty straightforward. These algorithms, they look at your past purchases and what you've been browsing, but get this, they also look at what millions of other users like you have bought.
So it's like the more people buy stuff, the smarter the system gets.
Yeah, it's a network effect, you could say. Each purchase makes the system a little bit smarter.
That's wild. It's light years ahead of having a salesperson just point you to, like, the new releases section.
Totally. It goes way beyond just recommending products.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Think about their warehouses.
Mm.
Amazon uses AI and robots to run things in a way that actually gets more efficient as the company grows.
And that's different from a regular warehouse. How?
Well, a normal warehouse can only fit so many people in forklifts,
Here.
it hits a limit. But Amazon's system, it thrives on scale because it's powered by AI.
And then there are those Amazon Go stores. You just grab what you want and walk out. No checkout lines, no cashiers. It's like something out of a science fiction movie.
Oh, yeah, those are cool, right? The Amazon Go stores show how Amazon uses technology to break through the old limitations.
They're really pushing the limits of what's possible with their system.
Exactly. And don't forget about their Echo devices and Alexa. They're constantly gathering information, learning your preferences, and connecting you to a growing network of services.
Amazon's killing it with its digital approach for sure. But what about the big traditional companies, like Walmart? Can they keep up in this AI age?
Walmart knows they have to adapt to compete with Amazon. And they're actually doing quite a bit. They've been building their own digital operating model, and they're really going for it.
Oh, yeah. Like how?
One of the things we're doing is moving all their data to the cloud so they could use AI to analyze it. This lets them say, adjust prices on the fly based on what's happening with demand.
Or what their competitors are doing.
Right, exactly. It's like they're trying to become more like Amazon in how they use data.
It's a smart move for sure.
They're also buying up digital companies like Jet.com and Bonobos to beef up their online presence. And they're partnering with Microsoft for all that cloud technology and AI expertise. A huge project.
I've heard about Walmart's intelligent retail lab. Apparently, they're messing around with cameras and sensors and AI, all to make the in-store experience more personalized, like shopping online, but in an actual store.
They're trying to bring the convenience and personalization of online shopping into their physical stores.
Mm.
Imagine cameras tracking what customers are looking at, AI suggesting products you might like, maybe even getting personalized coupons on your phone as you walk down the aisle.
It's like they're trying to make their stores as smart as their website.
Exactly. But it's a tough thing to pull off. I mean, you got to think about customer privacy. And how do you add all this technology without weirding people out?
It's like they're trying to mix the best of both worlds, the online and the in-store.
You got it. And it's not just happening in the US either. The book also talks about Tencent.
Tencent?
Yeah, the company behind WeChat. They're a big player in this whole digital transformation thing, especially in Asia.
Oh, I've heard of WeChat. Isn't it like a messaging app?
It started that way, but it's way more than that now. They've turned WeChat into this one-stop shop platform where you can make payments, socialize with friends, even access all sorts of services. Millions of people in Asia use it for practically everything.
So, like, they've created their own little digital world inside one app.
Exactly. And just like Amazon, they're using all that user data and AI to get into new things like finance and healthcare. They're changing how whole industries work.
Can you give an example?
Sure. The book tells this story about a street performer in Kuala Lumpur. This guy is accepting payments through WeChat. Like, even street performers are going digital.
So you've got Amazon changing how we shop online, Walmart trying to keep up, and Tencent changing the game in Asia. This AI revolution is happening everywhere, isn't it?
It is. It's touching every industry all over the globe.
Hmm.
And it's changing how companies compete and do business. It's not some future thing. It's happening right now.
Yeah.
We are living in the age of AI.
It's kind of crazy. AI is everywhere now, but is it all good, you know? Remember how we talked about that AI Rembrandt at the beginning?
Yeah.
It wasn't just a cool tech demo. It showed how people really feel about AI. Kind of fascinated, but maybe a little scared too.
Yeah, I get that.
And I think we're seeing that same thing play out on a bigger scale as AI changes whole industries.
Yeah, you're right. AI has amazing potential, but it does raise some real concerns.
Like what?
Well, like what happens to people's jobs when AI can do them? And there's the issue of bias in AI. And in a world where everything's connected, cybersecurity becomes even more important. These are all things we got to figure out.
So if things are changing this much, what does it mean for the people in charge? For company leaders?
Well, in competing in the age of AI, the authors say that basically the rules of the game have changed. Leaders need to understand these new rules if they want to stay in the game, so to speak.
Right. So what's different for, say, a company like Amazon versus a more traditional company?
Well, for digital companies like Amazon, one big challenge is managing their size and influence responsibly. They're gathering tons of data, and they need to think about the ethics of how they're using that data.
Makes sense. But how do you make sure a company like that grows responsibly? I mean, these digital models are all about expanding more and more.
That's a good question. It takes a real commitment to data privacy and security.
Yeah.
And companies have to be willing to have open discussions about how AI might affect society.
Okay, that's for the digital giants. What about more traditional companies, like Walmart?
For companies like Walmart, the challenge is different.
Mm-hmm.
They need to figure out how to completely change the way they operate so they can use data and AI. If they don't, they might not survive.
It's like they're trying to catch up, right?
Yeah, it's almost like they have to learn a whole new language.
So build new skills, invest in new technology.
Yeah, even change their company culture. It's a lot, but it can be done.
Right.
The book gives examples of companies, both tech companies and traditional ones, that are adapting really well.
Oh, so it's not a lost cause.
Not at all.
Hmm.
You see companies like MasterCard using AI to get better at detecting fraud. Fidelity Investments is using AI to get personalized financial advice. Even Rolls-Royce is using AI to improve their engine designs.
What's interesting, AI is being used in so many ways.
It really is. And companies are getting creative, finding new ways to use it to their advantage.
Okay, so we've talked about algorithms and data and all this tech stuff, but where do people fit in? What happens to humans in this AI age?
That's a great question. It's something the book talks about a lot.
So what's the answer?
Well, the authors argue that, yeah, AI will automate a lot of tasks, but it'll also create new kinds of jobs. And it'll lead to more collaboration between humans and AI.
So it's not humans versus machines.
No, not really. It's more like humans working with machines. AI can take care of the routine stuff and analyze huge amounts of data. That frees up humans to focus on things AI isn't good at.
Like what?
like solving problems creatively, thinking strategically, and tasks that need empathy and emotional intelligence.
Things that require a human touch.
Exactly. We might even see job titles we can't even imagine right now.
That's a cool thought. You always hear that AI is going to take everyone's jobs.
Well, it's more complicated than that,
It
right?
sounds like it.
Some jobs will definitely go away, but new ones will be created. The important thing is to focus on developing skills that'll be needed in this new world and being adaptable.
So it's not just about the technology, it's also about how we adapt, our skills and our mindset.
Yeah, you got it. AI isn't just changing how companies work, it's changing how we work and think. We have to stop seeing AI as a threat and start seeing it as a tool that can help us do amazing things.
So learning new things and being able to adapt is going to be even more important, right?
Absolutely. The authors of Competing in the Age of AI say that to succeed in this new era, we have to stay ahead of the curve. We've got to be constantly learning and evolving.
It's definitely a challenge, but it's also exciting. We're living through this incredible time of change. AI has the potential to change the world in big ways, both good and bad.
You're right, it's exciting and a little scary at the same time. What we do today is going to determine how this all plays out, not just for companies, but for all of us.
That's a big thought, right? It's not just about business, it's about shaping the future we want to live in.
Exactly. That's why it's so important to talk about these things, to understand what AI can do, right? And to work together to make sure AI is used for good.
Yeah, I totally agree. It feels like we've covered a lot in this deep dive.
We have. We talked about AI-driven companies, the challenges they face, the need for humans to adapt, and how AI is changing the rules of the game.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg, right?
Yeah, we're just scratching the surface here. There's so much more to explore.
Okay, so where do we go from here?
Yeah.
What's next? Okay, so where do we go from here? What's next?
Well, we could dive into specific examples of how different industries are using AI, like healthcare or finance. Or we could get into the ethical questions around AI, which are super important.
Yeah, there's so much to unpack. Like, we've been talking about AI as this big force changing the business world, but it's also changing, like, our personal lives too,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. AI is already a part of our daily routines in ways we might not even realize. Well, think about those personalized recommendations you get on Spotify or Netflix, or how your phone's GPS seems to know the best route even before you type it in. That's AI at work,
I guess I hadn't really thought of it that way.
and it's only going to get more integrated into our lives. AI-powered personal assistants will get even smarter. We'll probably see more AI in healthcare, helping doctors diagnose diseases earlier.
It's a little mind-blowing when you think about it. So much potential.
There is. But, like we talked about earlier, there are also risks. We need to be thoughtful about how we develop and use AI so it benefits everyone, not just a select few.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, some people are worried about AI becoming too powerful, maybe even dangerous, like those sci-fi movies where the robots take over.
I know what you mean. And while I don't think we're headed for a robot apocalypse anytime soon, it's important to think about these things, to make sure AI is used ethically and responsibly.
Right. We don't want to create something we can't control.
Exactly. And that's where things like regulation and ethical frameworks come in. We need to make sure we have the right guardrails in place as AI becomes more sophisticated.
So it's not just about the tech itself, it's about how we manage it.
You got it.
Okay.
It's about having those tough conversations, about making sure AI serves humanity, not the other way around.
Well, I think that's a great note to end on. We've explored how AI is impacting businesses, how it's changing the nature of competition, and even how it's starting to change our lives in all sorts of ways.
Yeah, we've covered a lot, from those AI-driven companies pushing boundaries to the very real challenges we need to address.
And it all comes back to that central idea from the book, competing in the age of AI. This isn't just some tech trend, it's a fundamental shift. And to thrive in this new era, we all need to understand these changes and adapt to them.
I agree. It's about being aware, being adaptable, and being proactive. We can't just sit back and let the future happen to us. We have to shape it.
And on that note, I want to thank our listeners for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI. It's a complex topic, but hopefully this conversation has helped shed some light on the incredible opportunities and the very real challenges that lie ahead.
It's been a pleasure exploring this with you, and I hope our listeners feel inspired to learn more, ask questions, and engage in those crucial conversations about how we shape the future of AI, because the future is what we make it.